In depth on a bill moving forward at the state capitol to ban multiple food dyes and additives that are in foods we eat every day. It's a popular topic nationwide as we look for healthier options on how to live better, longer, and even possibly do it cheaper. But the bill received bipartisan support yesterday. A bill to ban 21 synthetic food dyes and additives, not just from food but also pharmaceuticals, in the next 2 years is on the move at the state capitol.
I wanted us to say no more. We're not doing this. We're not going to let people put things in their bodies that they're not aware of, especially when the health risks are showing how potentially dangerous these can be.
North and Western Oklahoma City Republican Senator Kristen Thompson says many Oklahomans don't know what they're putting in their bodies when it comes to everyday food and medicine. And the big food companies of America, she says, don't care about their customers' health over making money by selling food that makes us sick.
Why are these harmful chemicals banned in other countries, but in America, where we have some of the highest healthcare spending, they're still allowed? I don't think this is government overreach because at this point, there's no oversight.
Thompson says she's seen behavioral issues in her own son after eating and drinking certain products. And she points to testimonies across the country of behavioral issues in school-age children.
When my little boy was 5, he played in a soccer tournament. He had 2 soccer games, and he had a red sports drink at the end. Came home, I thought we were going to be taking a nap. And he did the exact opposite, was like bouncing all over the walls.
Opponents of the bill, like Panhandle Republican Senator Casey Murdoch, says parents need to raise their children, and it's up to them on what they want to buy at the store for their families.
I don't know, I might have been 5, and I had that happen to me, but it was chocolate donuts. And I bounced off the walls, and guess what? My parents didn't buy me more chocolate donuts.
Other opponents believe some food companies will skip over Oklahoma if such a ban is put in place, and some beloved products could disappear. There are also concerns about increased food costs to families.
I feel that it is government overreach telling people what they can eat and what they can't eat.
Thompson says while the Trump administration is expected to make moves on food dyes soon, the state of Oklahoma needs to partner with other states, also taking action to say the time for these colors with no nutritional value is up. Our relationship in particular with red food dye has been really weird. Let me show you. In the 1980s, red dye number 3 was found to be cancerous to lab rats. Since then, there have been problems to be found in red dye number 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, and many more. The FDA banned the use of red dye number 3 in cosmetics and topical creams back in the 90s because there were concerns it would cause cancer. Between the 1980s and just last January, federal regulators determined that it wasn't safe to put this on our skin, but it was perfectly fine for us to eat it and put it directly into our bodies. In addition to state-level policies, all eyes are now on recently confirmed Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has actually sued food companies in the past. In exchange for his endorsement and campaign suspension, President Donald Trump implemented Kennedy's health agenda and even gave him a cabinet position. Kennedy's campaign promises on certain foods were things like they're killing us now, and they are now considered to be a part of the Make America Healthy plan again on how to combat that problem. Here is Kennedy himself talking about the crackdown on food dyes and other food additives.
We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? Well, a big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle.
One of the agencies Bobby Kennedy is now in charge of as Health and Human Services Secretary is the Food and Drug Administration. We expect many things to change in the way of processed foods and food additives and dyes over the next few years. And the FDA already banned the use of red dye number 3 in food and beverages. It came after more than 30 years after scientists linked the red dye to cancer in animals. It's a synthetic color additive made from petroleum. Manufacturers now have until 2027 to reformulate their products. If we're going to do this, we are not the Lone Rangers in this. In fact, this is not a red state, blue state issue. Yes, we understand there's a pun in there somewhere. In West Virginia, a ban on multiple food dyes passed overwhelmingly in their House of Delegates, 93-5 just last week. The state of Texas is moving to ban dyes in school lunch foods, similarly to what was already in place in California. New York is also considering a new crackdown on many of the food dyes in their food supply. And in state capitals across the country, in many states like Oklahoma, there are proposals, discussions, and bills about how to move forward regardless of if the Trump administration takes any action on these items. When it comes to the other side of things, there are legitimate points to be made in opposition to cutting down and cracking down on food dyes. Common arguments are that you, the consumer, actually need to read the labels on your food packaging. Many are just way too trusting of what we eat just because it looks good and tastes good. If consumers were more aware of what they were eating, then businesses would adjust. In theory, their own supply and demand would actually be impacted because of what people actually want. Also, when it comes to food dyes, some food needs to be given a better appearance. There is nothing wrong with it, but it's just not pretty, and more people may not want to buy something that is actually just fine. It just needs to be put lipstick on the pig, if you will. That leads to more food waste. This bill has a very long way to go, and this week is a very critical week when it comes to getting any bills passed at the Capitol, and it will continue to live on for now, and we will continue to follow this. We do expect there will be major changes to the final product that could become state law in the end.